Hello, everybody. All right, so today is Monday, July the 15th, 2024. Welcome to the Mikestand, everybody. If you haven't already, of course, you guys can help us out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people to engage. I know we've got some competition tonight, a little more than our usual competition, because I know, I guess Yellow Flash decided to the broadcast tonight as well. So, but we'll make do with what we got. So of course, before we talk about what's on tap for tonight, yeah. Oh, and Rick, last night after I got off with you guys, I basically conked out for like 2 hours. I just dropped. I pretty much just laid on my bed and just took like a 2 hour nap. I think basically based on what I was telling you, I think my body was telling me I needed it.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
so
I know what
it
that's
just
like.
helped me kind of get back on track a little bit today and all that. Um, so how'd your day go today?
Not too bad. I went to the program that I've been going to for about since last Wednesday. It was all right. It's sort of basic, but um, uh, I'm not sure exactly if it's going to help me get a job, but it's supposed to somehow. I don't
Mm,
know how. But then I came back to apartment. Actually, I signed up to be at a festival on August 25th here in Hamilton. So um, I've got a guess somewhere else I'm going to be this year besides Hamilton Comic Con, which is set for it's set for September as well. So you know,
mm.
yeah,
All right, and just again a friendly reminder. You guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here we talk about grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we will go ahead and answer the questions to the best of our abilities. So before we do get into, before I talk about what's on top for tonight and stuff, I'm gonna hand it off to Rick to do an intro. Rick, you know the shtick, right?
yeah. Well,
No.
there is. I'm just putting in the link to my channel here on YouTube. So if people would go like and share, subscribe my channel, watch my videos. Well, especially if you like what you see over my channel, um, like it, and subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Probably pretty soon, I'm going to be having some new content, some coloring content. And while people want to find out more about what I'm going to be coloring, they will can tune in tomorrow night on my channel for the chill stream. I will be announcing that and showing something off.
All right. So, anything more you'd like to add before we get going here?
Get on with the show. No, not this time.
All right. So tonight. Now, granted, I know last night I mentioned I didn't really want to get too much into what happened Saturday, but as it is what a lot of people seem to be wanting to seem to be what people are talking about, wanting to talk about, we are going to cover it to an extent. Not the event itself per se. I mean, there are a lot of you already covering that. We're going to be looking more at the reactions coming out of the mainstream comic creators, what they have to say. And of course, for those who watch this channel or you know, some of the other YouTube creators that associate with me or I associate with, you probably know which ones we're probably going to be talking about here.
Yeah.
In terms of how they reacted and responded to Trump's assassination attempt.
Yeah, and of course, we might all have different views, and maybe some are better than others. Well, but everybody has a right to their opinion, although we may disagree with it. I think it might be a bit harsh, or whatever. We just try not to disparage people too much.
Uh, Everybody has a right to their opinion. Obviously, this is going to be a very sensitive topic to a lot of people. So, the disclaimer is, everybody's got a right to their opinion, and we shouldn't have a problem being able to peacefully communicate our differences of opinion without getting too riled up or rancored. Um, you know, we should always try to be respectful towards each other, even when we have a difference of opinion. You know,
Yes.
um, here we're gonna go over the article. We're gonna go over some of the reactions from those comic creators.
That we
Yeah,
probably disagree with a lot.
yeah, and and again, another disclaimer that I know a lot of commentators have been talking about, and I know there's a lot of feeling. There is just a natural human tendency to want to retaliate when either you yourself or somebody close to you or even somebody that you may support, may have been wronged or, in this case, attacked.
Yeah, we do not
Um,
encourage any sort of retaliation.
Rick, let me get this out. Okay.
Sorry.
Um, with that being said, I want to just remind people to be bigger here. Okay. Let's be the voice of reason. It's as many of us who are Christians, or at least do believe in the Christian ideology. Let God handle it. You
Yeah.
know,
If you want,
don't try to copycat this guy. I know it's very human, very fleshy to want to respond in kind.
yeah,
But as Jesus put it, sometimes it's better just turn the other cheek.
yeah,
You know,
uh, for
you know,
sure. And I'd say if you want to do anything in retaliation, just get out to the vote in
right?
November, and
Exactly.
vote.
You want to get these people out of power. You really want to get these people out of power. The main thing is you got to vote them out. You got to show them, hey, look, we're tired of politics.
Well,
We're tired of the swamp. Get out now.
yeah,
You know. So, but with all that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this article from Bleeding Fool. And I'll pull it up in a moment here, and then we'll look at it. We'll read through it. We'll, of course, commentate on it. It's okay to express opinions. Let's be just
we'll
let's
try not to get too pissed off.
let's just let's try to be peaceful and respectful towards each other as
Yeah.
we discuss this. All right. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. Let me grab that article. And this one's a pretty lengthy article, so this is really going to be the only article we're going to do tonight. It's going to be it's lengthy and it's pretty meaty. So, um, meaning it's got a lot in it, and there's a lot to probably. Mainstream comics must die. Comic book creators make light of Trump assassination attempt. Article by Victor James published today. And then here's a tweet from somebody named Melanie Mac Go Boom.
Yeah,
Uh,
Melanie Mac, she's a fellow YouTuber. She is a Christian. She does a lot of stuff on gaming. I've
all
seen
right.
her. I'm subscribed to her.
I think
So
I've heard of her a little bit too. But anyways, she tweeted, and I guess this is where starting with, "Not today, Satan. Trump 2024." Now that scene right there, I know that's going to become a GIF. I'm pretty
oh
positive that him raising his fist out. You see the blood coming out of his ear right there,
yeah,
and I mean that female Secret Service, it looked more like she's trying to hug him than protect him. I mean, um,
yeah. If you see the thing, if I'm remembering her right, she barely knew. seemed like she knew what she was
Well,
doing.
yeah, there's been a lot of criticism about having females on the Secret Service details to begin with,
You know,
but that
I don't have a problem with it if they can do their job good. That's all
yeah,
I'll
I
say.
think that's a general consensus. But the thing is that I know like some of the guys I do know who have been in some form, like either law enforcement or secret, like guys like Dan Bongino and Brandon Tatum. They talked about this. Yeah, for whoever you're protecting, you want to have somebody who's at the very least your size, if not bigger, preferably bigger, obviously. Somebody that,
Yeah,
if you have to get them down to the ground, you have to cover them, you can cover them. That
yeah,
that girl is supposed to be something like 5'3", I
yeah.
think. And,
Well,
and Trump is over 6 feet from what I understand. So,
yeah,
you
but
know,
sometimes size doesn't matter because I know this is a very outlier thing that I'm going to say. Look at Bruce Lee; he could take down guys twice the size of him easy. And
yeah.
obviously, I wouldn't say she's any Bruce Lee, but so there are people that can take down the guys twice the size of them. It's
Yeah.
about being competent in your job, whatever that might
Yeah.
be.
All right. Okay. So anyways, let's move on with the article here. Um, Recently, one of my favorite YouTubers, your boy Zach, um, if I understand correctly, that's kind of the screen name for Richard C. Myers, if I understand
Yes,
correctly. Okay.
you would understand that correctly then.
Yeah. Lamented that so-called quote unquote anti-SWJs, okay, I think they meant to say SJWs, but um, want all modern culture to die. And to this I say yes. The 2016 election of Donald Trump broke the mainstream comic industry. Everyone should already be aware of the absolute meltdown that followed, which involved a whisper network working behind the scenes to purge the industry of anyone who supported Trump, or anybody who supported any conservative cause for that matter. It's not
Yeah,
just Trump, but anybody you know who basically supports the American Constitution, the traditional values that America was built on, and all that. 8 years later, this extreme form of Trump derangement syndrome, or TDS, persists to this day. And I know that there's still obviously we've seen many of them. A certain individual, Fandom Pulse, recently published an article just a day after the assignation
I think it meant
assignation attempt on. Okay, somebody either the writer themselves or the editor, either the writer themselves apparently made a mistake, or the editor didn't catch the mistake, or the editor didn't real. It's supposed to be assassinate after the assassination attempt. I was like wondering, okay, why? What in the world assignation? And then I see, okay, they meant to say assassination.
yeah,
Who's ever editing, if anybody from Bleeding Cool is watching this, you guys need to work on your editing.
yeah,
Okay, assassination attempt on Trump. The usual suspects from the Whisper Network let it be known where their priorities were the day after a former president and current frontrunner was nearly murdered. Yeah, the only thing, one of the few, aside from just the fact that he just happened to turn his head at the right moment, one of the other things they talked about was the only other thing that saved Trump here was that apparently, and it's come out even more so in the last couple of days, this kid was a bad shot. Okay,
yeah,
he was a bad shot. He couldn't even make his rifle club in hye school.
yeah. Well,
Okay,
the guy took 5 shots and he only hit Trump once.
yeah, yeah, 20%. But he apparently did hit somebody because
Yeah,
there was
well, unfortunately,
unfortunately somebody.
the unfortunate thing is if you're not going to hit your target, you're
Mhm.
going to be hitting somebody else. And yeah, I heard somebody, one of the crowd, one of the people there did die. I'm not sure whether they were behind Trump or in front of Trump or what.
No, okay, so I don't know where exactly the person was, but the guy's name was Corey Comparatore, I believe. He was,
No.
I guess, a retired volunteer fireman. He was shot while he was trying to basically protect his family. He was trying to get his family down. I guess that's when he was shot. And he
Okay.
unfortunately did pass away. So Heather Antos here at San Diego Comic Con. I'll just leave this here, and then in the black hooded individual, the attempt on my life. Oh boy, from Fandom Pulse. Um, and then Vita. Now, of course, I think everybody should know who Heather Antos is, right? Because she and then Vita Ayala, who's another comic book creator, reposted. Liberals, Donald Trump and Project 2025 are an existential threat. Also, liberals, get well soon, sir. Oh boy. And Impulse. And it's kind of funny too, because I know a lot of commentators have talked about this aspect too. How it's funny. The left likes to accuse the right of being extreme and being violent and all that. But when you really look into some of this stuff, right?
Yeah, it's
Who
them.
who ends up usually committing the violence? And people say, no, it's on both sides. No, no, no. It's been on the left. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
90. There can be about 10% on the right, but 90% of it is the left,
Right.
or that's what it seems, anyways.
Yeah. And then Mark Wade here. Mark Wade should be working instead. Um, let's see. Pray that the shooter was wearing an RFK Jr. T-shirt. And then to follow that up, he said, if you're just tuning in, some bleeping idiot with bleeping eyesight just clinched the election for Trump. Bleep.
Well, this is true.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you see, they realize that because now it's like my guess on this is that because of this, the only granted, it's not going to be 1984 again, like when Reagan beat Mondale, but it's going to be the closest thing we've had to that since. Okay, I think the only states that the Democrats are going to get now are going to be the ones that are safe and likely. I think now you like Minnesota, New Jersey, Virginia, New Hampshire are all
Actually,
in play now.
actually, New Jersey they might not get now because I've heard New Jersey just even before this happened was flipping more towards Trump.
Right. It was yeah. I mean, I was listing off those as states that were probably were probably at the very least more in play now, if not going over to the other side. So, anyways, back to the article here. Let's before I do read on here, let me see if we've gotten any comments yet.
No, nothing yet. If we get, I've got it up. If we get anything, I'll say something. Obviously.
Right. So, anyways, continuing on here. You may say these are just a handful of people and don't speak for the industry at large. In fact, said individual highlights how Gail Simone, also allegedly part of the Whisper Network, was the voice of reason in the industry. Gail Simone here. Okay, just caught up with the shooting thing. It may be weird, but I'm going to wait until we know more before, freaking out. This is bad. It shouldn't happen. Good fortune to us all. Yeah, because she wants to be careful. Okay, so here's some other things we know about the shooter. Okay, his last name I know is Crooks. But one of the other things that people have mentioned, he is a registered Republican. However, he donated to a liberal PAC called Act Blue.
Yeah, he's probably one of these people that registered as a Republican in whatever state that he's from to try and sway the vote from Trump to
Trump. Yeah, that's the theory going out right now is that he's one of these people who, because I guess because Pennsylvania, where he's from, there is a closed primary state. He registered as a Republican so he could maybe hopefully vote for like Nikki Haley or something like that to try to oust Trump, try to get
yeah.
him voted out of the way. It just didn't work out for them though. Um, Being used to having to backpedal from unhinged comment, Mark Wade also gave his unusual non-apology for saying something heinous. Mark Wade should be working in the so because right-wing lunatics and Comicsgate incels have made a campaign today of sickly twisting my condolences about yesterday's tragedy into claims that I quote unquote cheer political violence. I've deleted my post. I will not give them any fuel to spread their disgusting lies.
Can we go back up to his comments, please?
What, you mean back to his previous comment?
Yeah.
Pray that the shooter was wearing an RFK Jr. t-shirt. Yeah, that is kind of a half apology. If you're just tuning in, some bleeping idiot with bleeping eyesight just clinched the election for Trump bleep. Yeah,
Now,
that's not an apology, dude. That's not an apology, dude. Rick, do you think that's an apology?
I'd like to know how in any universe that would be considered that his condolences for what happened to Trump. I think he said condolences or whatever. We need to go back down with that.
Yeah, they did say He did say condolences. You're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. See right there, it's right there. But the thing is that I mean, we know about. I mean, and I know Yellow Flash even went through some of this earlier in one of his videos earlier today, where like he went like there's like a number of incidences they've talked about where you have a lot of these left wing celebrities, wanting harm to come to Trump. Robert De Niro talked about wanting to punch him in the face. Of course, Kathy Griffin had the very infamous severed head bit going, and I think from what I heard, George Lopez also did a severed head bit, as holding his severed head up like this.
And I'd like to also know how he doesn't think his comments in any way could be weren't.
I mean, Alec Baldwin took it even one step further and basically talked about wanting Barron to be locked in a cage and what would be the best way to say it? Essayed, arped, So, they talk. The left wants to try to paint. It's kind of funny because I know Glenn Beck has talked about people like Bill Ayers and stuff like that, and where in the rules for radicals, one of their tenets is, look in the mirror, see the evil that you do or you think of, and point the other guy and tell people they do it. Try to gaslight people into thinking they do it. So,
and I have to tell Mark Wade something. I'm sorry, you may have deleted your post, but they're already out there. Somebody screenshot them
and broadcast it. Yeah. So I mean, dude, it's too late.
You're trying to deny it.
In the first place, you really don't want to give him ammo, dude. Here's an idea.
Don't comment.
Or follow the golden rule, right? We remember the golden rule, don't we?
Yeah, do unto others as you
would. Well, okay, do unto others, but that's not what I was actually thinking. I was thinking more like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
That's another one there. But anyways, I'd burn my collection of Mark Wade written. So this is the author of this article talking. Of course, I'd burn my collection of Mark Wade written comics at this point if the matches didn't cost more than the comics were worth. But I digress. While the sample size for those in the comic industry making light of Trump's assassination again, dude,
you know what? This is poorly worded in a different way. It shouldn't be making light of Trump's assassination attempt. It should be making light of the assassination's attempt on Trump, because it almost makes it sound like Trump is making an assassination attempt on somebody
Yeah,
else.
it might be Trump's assassination. Yeah, well, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, the assassination. You're right there too. I mean, obviously there's some editorial, goof ups here, but you make a very good point there, Rick. Light of Trump's assassination. So should say the assassination attempt on Trump. Yeah, it's small. People need a reminder that this is not something new. Since 2016, comic book pros have gone out of their way to promote violence in their works against Trump. And then here's a bleeding fool tweet that says, since people were allegedly, quote, sickly twisting, unquote, Mark Wade's, quote unquote, condolences after the assassination attempt on President. So at least whoever's doing the Bleeding Fool Twitter account or X account, at least seems to have better grammar there on President Trump. The comics writer working for DC Official has decided to delete the post in question. There we go. Let's see. Don't get your hopes up that at DCO Official will find this behavior too toxic to keep Mr. Wade employed. DC's digital platform at the DC universe also hires social media staffers with the same attitude. Let's see. And here's at DC at real Donald Trump. The only corruption comes from your administration, UDF. Okay. And before I do, and they're gonna go into Rick. If you can talk to the chat for a moment, because I need to go get some water. My throat's turning a little prickly. So I'll be right back.
Well, hello, chat. That is not here. How are you all doing tonight? I hope you're doing fine. Oh, it's good to hear you're doing fine. Although I don't see you say it. I'll assume you are doing fine. And I don't see you saying you're doing fine because it appears nobody is here. And I'm just talking to myself. I think. I don't know. Who am I talking to? Talking to myself. I think I'm going crazy. I've went there long ago.
Talking to yourself is not the first sign of going crazy. When you get an answer back from a voice you don't recognize, then you're going crazy.
Problem is, you could recognize it and you're still going crazy. Depends on where it's coming from. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor so early in the morning? Let's see. I know where these guys probably are. They're probably over on the other site. The vomitorium. Just saying hi over on the vomitorium.
Oh, what was that?
I'm just saying hi on the vomitorium. That's where Goodnight Spoon is.
Yeah. Well, do you know if they're talking about anything with Trump or anything like that, or no?
I don't know. I don't have the audio on it.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, let's get into this. So, receipts. Eric Larson of Savage Dragon fame has been a poster child for TDS. He has long made Trump the villain in his comic, which is, in stark contrast, to the way he portrayed President Obama. And look at, you got Trump as a giant man. Kill him. Kill the aliens. Yeah.
Yeah, like other presidents haven't done that. And
then here's how he depicted Obama. What a contrast, huh?
Yeah.
Then let's not forget this gem he posted on Twitter, as reported by Bounding in the Comments. This is from an earlier article, so Eric Larson here. Donald Trump being executed for treason on the White House lawn is the closure America needs to start the healing process.
Apparently, he doesn't know half of America, at least.
Well,
okay. That would be the direct opposite.
Yeah, here's the thing that you have to understand. America is kind of split into two parts here. There's generally the coastal areas, the west coast and the like northeast half of the eastern coast, and then there's basically the whole middle part of the country. There's stemming from the southeast up through or what people like to refer to as flyover country. Okay, the northeast and west coast elites think that they know better than everybody else. And quite honestly, middle America, the flyover country, is tired of their garbage. That's basically what it's coming down to.
Yeah.
So, in 2016, Captain America Steve Rogers run, Nick Spencer, who said this, quote, Nick Spencer, in parentheses, Captain America, parentheses, the media collapse of 2016 is a spectacular thing to watch. Suddenly, we're pretending Trump supporters aren't racist, unquote. Also portrayed his Red Skull during his failed run as a Trump stand-in. Yeah, so in the short-lived The Hellblazer Rebirth, writer Simon Oliver also had to inject his personal politics into the comics. So started to feel like home, really did, when a racist, short-fingered, failed meat salesman began circling the White House. Things started. So basically, and even by the description here, they're basically trying to draw some kind of comparison to the most hated man of all time. So, anyways, believe me, in this real estate market, they don't have to. Okay. Spider-Gwen, annual number 1, had one of the silliest and most blatant inserts when they portrayed MODOK, which means mental organism designed as America's king. Okay. So a different character than MODOK as Trump. Oh boy. Let's see. Let's not forget the reaction many comic book pros had when Trump was diagnosed with COVID. Let's see. Tamra Borvillain, okay. Interesting name. Borvillain, or Borvillain. Borvillain, I think.
Well, there's no R there, so it's Bonvillain.
Bonvillain. To be clear, I never found it funny or fitting when large groups of people were being exposed to COVID through their own ignorance. I don't like those people, but don't want a bunch of misinformed people to suffer and spread it further. But Trump, nah, bleep him. As hard as I'll try. It'll be impossible to have even an iota less compassion for Trump and his purchased wife. Sounds a little like from Richard Pace here. It sounds like a little jealousy there to me, but and his purchased wife than he has had for the over 200,000 people he helped kill by calling COVID-19 a hoax. Brian Hatch. So is Trump going to wash his lungs out with disinfectant and shine a bright light up his rear? Personally, I think we should take off, nuke the guy for orbit. Only way to be sure of play. And then Tess Fowler. So, do they really have it, or is this a stunt? Because I don't want to get my hopes up that it takes them out and get disappointed. It's a little too convenient with the yeah, these people are off the rails, totally off the rails.
Yeah.
In 2021, one of my top 5 favorite comic writers, Jim Starlin, couldn't help but project violent imagery of the president in his Dreadstar comic. Well, let's, I guess, read what he has to say here. You overtax your poor, persecute your minorities, molest women and children, fail to properly educate your populace, imprison or kill your political. Funny how he talks about this when it's his side that just try to do it, right? Lie pathologically, shirk all responsibilities, continuously suppress your fourth estate, terrorize your neighboring planets, and are maybe much, and are pretty much just an bleep in general. So I'm here to replace you with a sane leader and institute a new and fairer government, governing system linked to and supervised by the Willow Consortium. Yeah, basically, that's kind of like the Illuminati, right? And look at that, the old severed head bit.
Yeah, you know what? Go back up to that. Not that I want to see the severed head bit, but this. No, don't. Right there, that anatomy is so off.
That anatomy is just so off.
Yeah, look at it. Does it look right to you? The arm.
What anatomy? His anatomy or the head?
Well, the guy holding the head.
Oh.
Just that arm that's holding the head just looks so off. Looks so small in comparison to the rest of the body.
Okay, yeah, that's why I was scrolling back up and down there, because now that you mentioned it, I kind of noticed that too. The dimensions are a bit off there.
And then some of the lower body too, like where the legs join and all that.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, continuing on here, decapitation seems to be the violence of choice for comics, as we see with not just with comics. I've already mentioned a couple of celebrities who also kind of like to mention it as well. Decapitation seems to be the violence of choice for comics, as we see with War, Orgasma Gaiden, or Orgasma.
It's supposed to be Armageddon.
Orgasmageddon. While not, in other words, they basically created a portmanteau of orgasm and Armageddon, basically. Portmanteau or portmanteau, whatever you want to call it. While not published by one of the big two, many comic pros aided in making this comic.
Yes, I can do that. Good night, Spoon. Good night. Ever so often I'm looking in the vomitorium chat. Uh, Good night, Spoon is commenting more in the like a vomitorium chat about what's going on here. He commented about me spotting the bad anatomy.
Yeah. Well, did he mention some of the bad grammar we saw earlier in the article?
Well, I'm not sure whether he was looking at that. I went over there a few minutes ago, and I typed in the chat, "Hi, I can't hear because I'm on the mic stand," and he's been commenting ever since then to me or about me.
Yeah.
So I'm just going back and forth every so often, looking at the vomitorium's chat.
Then there was Todd McFarlane's Spawn Kills Everyone that depicts Trump being decapitated along with the Red Skull. Granted, this one may be more tongue in cheek. Tongue in cheek, okay. Yikes. The death of comics. There are many, many more examples of comics portraying Donald Trump as a racist, Nazi, or Nazi in comics. Um, but there is no reason to beat a dead horse. You get it by now. This is not taking the responsibility away from the shooter. Nothing these comic pros said likely made that lunatic climb up to that rooftop. But why would I or anyone want to save even a portion of this industry when it employs people like this? Perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that this is coming from an industry that employs communists and bullies a man to suicide. I guess referencing what happened a couple months back with the guy from Pennsylvania there.
Yeah. The writer or artist, whatever. We've done a few articles on him.
Yeah, they've been this way for years. To my knowledge, no one has been fired for these comments, as many continue to work to this day. Therefore, the modern comic industry needs to die. When you have a cancer this deep, merely cut out portions will not do. Speaking from recent experience with a family member, the sickness will spread if even a tiny portion remains. Many aspects of chemotherapy basically shocks the body into fighting back against the infection, killing the body. And that is what we are doing.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I hate to disagree with them though. Modern comics do not need to die because, unfortunately, part of the modern comics is the indie comic industry where there are a bunch of good artists and writers and comics out there. And Goodnight Spoon is upset that I narked on him about not. I'm not sure how I narked on him exactly, but we just besides saying that he's commenting on this thing over in a different forum.
Yeah. So, anyways, yes, I am comparing these people to cancer because their own vitriol makes it an apt comparison. Ya boy Zach laughs when people say, quote, stop giving money to people who hate you, unquote, saying, quote, these people don't even know you, unquote. Fair enough. How about stop giving money to people who harbor nothing but hatred towards us instead? Check out, okay, and then this guy, I guess, has written his own comic as well. Check out my superhero novel, Fiasco Adventures, here and here. So, anyways, so as I said, that was the lone article we were gonna do tonight.
Oh, hello, Alk is finally in the chat.
Yeah, you're a little late though. We just completed the one article we were doing tonight. Um, hello, Mike, Pipe, Spoon. What up, fellow kids? Yeah, we were only doing one article tonight, and it did take us like we're at the 45-minute mark here, Rick. It took us the majority of the time there just to get through that one article. So yeah.
And to Elk, Good Night Spoon says hi over from the vomitorium chat.
Yeah. So with that, that was the one article we were doing tonight. Let's see.
Oh, he's been here the whole time. He just had to answer emails. Okay. Oh, good. Well,
Right.
Elk, what do you think of the article?
And this was not an Avi article, obviously. So
Still spelling and grammar issues, but
yeah.
not totally ridiculous issues.
Yeah, well, why? I guess we wait for him to comment. Rick, did you want to add anything more to what you wanted to about what we read in the article there and all that? It looks like Elk did finally say something. Yeah, it wasn't my thing. Well, yeah, as I told you, I told you before, Elk, I didn't necessarily want to cover too much of the whole thing that happened with Trump either. But since that's basically what everybody wants to talk about, anyways, I figured we'd get a good conversation out of it. And at least between Rick and I would think we did. So,
yeah, we commented on a few bits. There was stuff to comment on. Hey, Alphys, how are you?
Pennsylvania outrage.
Yeah.
Well, basically, Dotard, the article we went over was basically the comic pros reaction, the mainstream comic pros reaction to what happened on Saturday. So
yeah,
that's pretty much what we're covering.
Really, it wasn't a big surprise. Some of them were just, unfortunately, they're so stupid. They're funny in some ways.
Yeah,
it's like the old slapstick, humor. So stupid it's funny.
Yeah. And then let's see.
Not that I could have a good answer, but I'm not sure how to tastefully comment on an assassination attempt and some poor guy's death. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean,
Done.
your cousin. What did your cousin just say there?
She's
Trying crochet.
she's crocheting a blanket or Afghan or something, and she was just saying that she got the first row done of it. So I just gave her the thumbs up.
It's Tunisian crochet and it's wickedly hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just basically talking about.
She can't hear you.
I always screw up the first row. After that, I get it right. I finally get the first row on.
Cool.
So, anyways, and then Elk responds here. I probably wouldn't have liked any comment on it, to be fair. Yeah.
Which guy is Midnight Spoon? Is he on there?
No, Good Night Spoon.
Good Night Spoon.
Yeah, he's not in the comment section. He's over on the vomitorium in the chat.
Is he in there?
Yeah.
Yes, this guy with the glasses. My name's Mike. I'm Mike Walters of Long
That guy's name's Mike. It's his channel and he's hosting, so I usually come on and comment a lot or somewhat, depending what it is.
Rick, you want to tell her what we were talking about tonight?
Well, I think she heard a bit
What?
about what we were talking about.
I heard from your side.
Yeah. So, what would you, based on what you heard from me, what would you say we were talking about?
Trump,
And what exactly about Trump?
the assassination and
Well, the assassination
attempt,
Yeah.
and that
So,
they worded it wrong. Somebody worded it wrong because it sounded like Trump was trying to assassinate somebody else.
yeah, but we're talking about some comic people, older comic people, and I think they're older comic people, pros and all that, made some comments on Twitter about it, and not in the favorable way. They are anti-Trump.
Dingbats.
Yeah. Anyways, Goodnight Spoon has finally decided to join us here.
There's Goodnight Spoon. Well, just a comment. You can't see him.
I'm not surprised. I've been expecting this for 8 years. I don't care. I don't think that this will be the last. It wasn't the first. I'm glad he's okay. I feel bad for the guy who didn't make it. Yeah,
Yeah, same here.
spending his eternity in hell now.
Well, no. You don't know that. The guy that got what they're talking about is somebody in the crowd died.
Oh yeah, and so did the shooter. I thought you were talking about the shooter.
No,
Oh yeah,
no.
the shooter actually. I think the shooter did die.
Yeah, well, the Secret Service or whatever, I believe, killed him.
And his family.
Yeah.
Well,
The Secret Service killed the shooter.
yeah.
Yeah. I think
Well, I believe so. I'm not 100% positive, but that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
And then, of course, unfortunately, the guy shot 5 rounds and one hit Trump in the ear, and it's because he moved his head in such a way. If he hadn't moved his head when he did,
he would have taken it in the eye.
yeah, or through the brain, and then unfortunately, somebody else trying to protect his family got killed. I would think, and I'm not sure whether Trump's probably going to reach out to that family and do something for them. I would guess.
Actually, I think he did, or he's one of a few people who did. There's actually a GoFundMe that was set up for the Corey Comparatori. There was actually a GoFundMe, and last I saw it was like over $4 million already. And
oh wow!
A number of conservative groups, number of conservative politicians, all like put significant money into it. So, yeah. So, yeah. So, anyways, I'm a conservative, Mike.
Cool. Good to hear, Alphas.
Yeah, and then I hope this is a wake up call for everyone, but I anticipate escalation based on discussion I've heard thus far. Yeah, well, and we even talked a little bit about that at the very beginning. Good night, Spin. I guess it's a good time now that we do have some people in here for me to kind of repeat what I said at the beginning of the show here. Okay, so Rick, let me get through it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that it's very human when somebody hurts somebody, when either somebody tries to hurt you, or a member of your family, hurt somebody close to you, or even somebody that you support. It's very human to want to retaliate. Okay. But I really ask and pray that everybody be bigger on this. Let's not retaliate. Okay. Let's be the bigger people here. As it says in the Bible, let's turn the other cheek. Let's not retaliate. As much as we want to retaliate, as much as there's a part of us, our flesh burns to want to retaliate, to want to do to them what they did to us. Kind of a twisting of the do unto others as they would have do unto you. But let's be bigger here.
Yeah. Well, and as I said near the beginning too, in sort of what you were saying, if you want to retaliate at the vote when you vote.
Right.
Vote for the guy that they tried to do some bad things to do.
Yeah. So, Dotard Elliott says, Polive need to get
Polyev,
Trudeau out of
Polyev,
Canada.
Polyev needs to get Trudeau out of Canada. Vote him out. Yes, I 1,000% agree, Elvis, and I'm definitely very much considering voting for Polyev. There's one other guy that I've considered for, but Polyev stands a better chance, so I'll probably end up voting for him.
Yeah,
Just
and then Goodnight Spoon says, yes, eye for an eye leaves the whole world. It's kind of funny you say that, Goodnight Spoon, because I don't know if you've ever watched Justice League Unlimited, but the Flash, who was voiced in that series by Michael Rosenbaum, delivered that very line, during during the four-parter of towards the end of season 2, towards the end of the Cadmus arc in there. So, and Rick, you said you agreed with him. And then Cross, how do elections and politics work in Canada?
Well, just for the sake of Mike's show and not going on too long about it, I will say, Alphys, I'm going to put the link of my channel. I'm not sure whether you already subscribed to it, but I'm going to have a show on tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to come by and ask that same question, I will answer you more there, and then I can get into maybe a little bit more detail or a lot more detail, depending on how things go. So
Good Spoon, I guess, responding to what I said, one of my favorite series. And then Rick, of course, with link to his channel. All right, and so with that, we are coming up on the hour mark, so we're going to start to wind down here. So today is Monday, Monday, July the 15th, 2024. So we're going to take a look back at this day in each history. Actually, before I do that, let me just get through the wrestling wrap up here real quick. There are some things that have come out of the weekend. Okay, on Thursday's Total Nonstop, on Thursday's Impact, let me just get through all that. So if I can. On Thursday's Impact, that was this past. So on this past Thursday's Impact, Jordan Grace defended the Knockouts World Title against NXT's Izzy Dame. Charlie Dempsey came over from NXT as well and took on one half of the Rascals, Zachary Wentz, and defeated him in a three-way number one contendership match for the TNA X Division title. Mike Bailey defeated Jonathan Gresham and Kushida. AJ Francis retained the digital media title in a Philly Street fight over Rhino. Giselle Shaw defeated Tasha Steelz. JDC defeated Chris Bay, one half of the ABC team. And then in a tag in the main event, Moose and Steve Macklin defeated Josh Alexander and Joe Hendry. So there's that. And then on tonight's SmackDown, or not SmackDown, but Raw, see what's going on there. Gonna try to keep it a little brief here, just keep to the main things here, as we are running a little long here. So, all right. So on tonight's Monday Night Raw from Dayton, Ohio, in another center in Dayton, Ohio, are scheduled. Sami Zayn defends the Intercontinental title against Ilya Dragunov, and Sheamus takes on Bronson Reed in what promises to be a big hoss fight. And in AEW news, of course, it it's official. They officially signed Rachel Ellering. Now, Rachel Ellering had been wrestling on the Ring of Honor brand for quite some time, but now it's been made official that she's signed to AEW now. Rachel Ellering, of course, is the daughter of current WWE manager as well as Wrestling Hall of Famer Paul Ellering, who, of course, guided the Road Warriors back in the 80s. And then eventually did start with them when they initially came to the WWE back in 1990, 91 as the Legion of Doom. So, but with that, that's all I'm going to get, because as I said, we're already at the hour mark here, so I'm going to try to get through this, and we're going to get to but we do have one more comment here. I don't remember that episode. I like the Justice Guild one and the one where Barry runs too fast to be Brainiac. Well, actually, it wasn't Barry. It was Wally West who was being depicted in there. The one where he switches bodies with Luther and the Sleep Demon episode. Yeah. So, yeah, it was actually Wally West who was being depicted in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. The episode I'm talking about happened during the Justice League Unlimited run, where you had like more the group had expanded to more what we would consider the full roster of the Justice League. It wasn't just the first 7 there, or at least that universe's first 7, because that universe's first 7 was different from the traditional first 7 of the first 7 members of the Justice League. Okay, so Justice League Unlimited. I don't remember the exact, but there was a 4-part, 4-parter towards the end of season 2 and season 2 they were doing the Cadmus Project arc, where basically the Question had discovered a thing that a lot of people had feared about how from the episode A Better World. On that world, Superman had killed Luthor with his heat vision, because Luthor had killed the Flash.
Oh yeah, you're talking.
I'm talking about the Justice League episode. Yeah, Justice League.
No, it's what were the Justice Lords?
Yeah, the Justice Lords episode. Yeah, okay. Justice Lords episode, the 2-parter there. The title of that episode was called A Better World.
Oh, okay.
And then basically,
it almost has
as part of a deal to get Luthor freed. From prison to help them take down the Justice Lords. The Justice League had to, give all their information they had from their trip to the Justice Lord's world. And many of them were like real unhappy with what they found out, because they were scared that with Superman being as powerful as he was, what if he did go rogue? What if something did break him and he did decide to, and
although that show was before, it probably inspired the Injustice video game, because it's very similar premise.
Yeah, but basically though, so that was used later, of course. The Question discovered it, and what he reasoned in that. Of course, the Question was voiced by Jeffrey Combs, who had previously voiced the Scarecrow in Batman the Animated Series, and was also a 2 or 3 characters Star Trek Deep Space Nine. But when he discovered that, what he figured, his reasoning was, well, he'll just kill Luthor before Superman tries to kill him. In his own mind, preserving the integrity of the Justice League, and to where Superman wouldn't be put in that position in the first place. So, and then they captured him, and Yeah, Wei-Yun was one of the characters he played in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Yeah. Question's my favorite character on the show. All right. So, anyways, but with that being said now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and look back at today being Monday, July 15th, 2024. Let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. History! So, let me just look this stuff over here. All right, so with all that being said, all right, first off, we're going to head back 15 years ago. As on this date, 15 years ago today, as I pull it up here, of course. On this date, 15 years ago today, the 90th and final issue of Betty and Veronica Spectacular from Archie Comics went on sale on this date back in 2009. So for $2.50 was 32 pages. So on day 15 years ago today, 90th and final issue of Betty and Veronica Spectacular from Archie Comics went on sale on newsstand on this date back in 2009. There we go with that. Let's see. And Rick, you want to read that? Because that's directed at you.
You saying I'm throwing up gang signs again, eh?
Okay, so anyways, moving on to the next piece of Nietzsche history. We move ahead to 2014. And on this date in 2014, Sola Digital Arts Appleseed Alpha, which was a Japanese-American animated military science fiction cyberpunk film, premiered in the United States on this date back in 2014. So 10 years ago today, Sola Digital Arts films Appleseed Alpha premiered on this date in the United States 10 years ago today, back in 2014. With that, as we move ahead to 2019 now, as on this, and again, it looks like we have another comment here that just popped up from Goodnight Spoon. Let's see what he has to say here. And you may want to read this one because this one's directed at you.
And he's saying, Rick, I regret to inform you, I will not be able to make it to your show the next 2 weeks. Carpooling. So I can't stay up late. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
All right, so with that, let's move on to the next piece of Nietzsche history, of course. First up, moving ahead to 2019, which was just 5 years ago today. And on this date, 5 years ago today, the night after their Extreme Rules pay-per-view, WWE held its Monday Night Raw event from the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. The night saw, the main event saw in a 10-man battle royal to determine who would become the number one contender of the WWE Universal Championship. Seth Rollins defeated Big E, Sami Zayn, Bobby Lashley, Rey Mysterio, Baron Corbin, Roman Reigns, Cesaro, Randy Orton, and Braun Strowman. Also, some other matches that happened throughout the night. The night opened up with Ricochet teaming with the Usos to defeat Robert Roode and the Revival of Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, the FTR and AEW right now, in a best 2 out of 3 falls 6-man tag match. let's see what else can we find here of interest. Let's see, in another 6-man tag match, the Club of AJ Styles and the Good Brothers of Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, Club, basically WWE's version of the Bullet Club, defeated the team of Lucha House Party of Grand Metalik, Kalisto, and Lince Dorado. Let's see. In a fatal 4-way elimination match to determine the number 1 contender to the WWE Raw Women's Championship, Natalya defeated Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and Naomi. Let's see. R-Truth defeated Drake Maverick to become the WWE 24/7, and we already told you what happened in the main event. So that all happened 5 years ago, and 2019 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. And I guess Goodnight Spoon decided to step out. Night, Mike and Rick. Night there.
Night. Good night, Spoon.
So now we'll get on to the final piece of niche history here. As also on this date 5 years ago today, as I said, 2019 was just so nice that we're going to hit it twice. Atomic Cartoons, in conjunction with WGBH Kids, premiered Molly of Denali on the PBS stations on this date back in 2019. It's considered the first American nationality distributed children's show to feature an Alaska Native as the lead character. So on this date, 5 years ago today, Molly of Denali premiered on PBS Kids in the United States and on CBC and TVC Kids in Canada. And it's still running to this very day. So there you go. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Before we go, of course, I'm going to give Rick one last chance to, if you'd like to do an outro before we head out.
Just put my link to my YouTube channel in the chat again. If anybody wants to go and subscribe, I will be doing, as usual, tomorrow night my broadcast of where I just chill, talk to whoever's in the chat about whatever. Usually for about 2 hours, but it depends on who may or may not be on. I'm gonna have something I'm gonna be showing tomorrow night, something new, so people want to try and make sure they're there to see it. Showing some things are getting on the way. So I guess we'll hopefully see everybody tomorrow night on my channel.
All right, so
night out.
Good night out. All right, with that, I thank everyone for being here. We'll be back here, of course, tomorrow night with more Niche News, of course. And I'll have Rick, I'll have you on this Friday.
And Wednesday.
As we'll be looking at Surefire Comics #1 from Ace Magazines. Looking at some of the early days of Ace Magazines of when they were founded in March of 1940, as well as looking at, I haven't decided which features yet I'm going to do, but I will probably be doing that over the next couple of days here. But with that, I thank everybody for being here. We'll be back here tomorrow, so I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.
Yes, it's only a day away.